All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about what a PBC executive, Tim Smith, Vice President of Communications for the Premier Boxing Champions, had to say about the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight. It is not new news, but it is definitely clarification over what the circumstances are. And in short, Terence Crawford is going to have to short pay in order to make this, get short paid in order to make this fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Terence Crawford's boxing fans and how they are to blame if this fight does not happen because Tim Smith told the truth in an interview that was on the Boxing Voice. And so let's talk about that in this video. But before we get into the meat of the video, please make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel, join the boxing community. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos and all of that good stuff. We have really good conversations that take place every day on Twitter, Instagram, on the in the comment sections of this video. Definitely good conversations. I think you'll definitely enjoy them. All right, man. So I am not losing hope for Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr., the fight being made. However, if I was the type of person to lose faith, this would be a bit of a blow to it. Tim Smith, who is the director of communications for Premier Boxing Champions, gave his opinion on what the difficulties were in making the fight, or would be in making the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. In doing so, though, he said that he is not party to those conversations, so this is his opinion. However, since he is the director of communications for the PBC, I doubt that he's very far off in the message that he is communicating, which is that Terence, in essence, that Terence Crawford is not a pay-per-view star. However, he is a tremendous fighter that is going to want to be compensated heavily for a fight with Errol Spence Jr. and rightfully want to be compensated for it because of the level of talent that he has. However, when you look at the books and you look at the type of business that he's done in the past, he's just not a pay-per-view. He's not a pay-per-view guy. And he's saying, look, man, Terence Crawford just has not been built right. And I don't think that there's anybody that can argue with that Terence Crawford has not been built into a big star. And that, I do believe, was a conscious decision of Top Rank and a conscious decision of Bob Arum. However, at the same time, it also has a lot to do with Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford at a point decided that Bomac and his team decided when they re-signed with Top Rank that they were okay with with a high amount of guaranteed money for a specific number of fights in time frame to earn a lot of money. So what they did was, instead of doing like what Deontay Wilder did and Deontay Wilder did, Errol Spence Jr. did, which was bet on themselves and, take a fight-by-fight deal that may allow them to be built up as stars with the PBC, he decided to go with the safe money bet, which was Top Rank. Now, really, as far as Terence Crawford goes and Terence Crawford's business decisions, I don't have any issue with that. Looking at it, from his point of view, that is there's nothing unreasonable about that. If somebody's going to pay you $3-5 million a fight for 6-7 fights, and you know that you're going to get them, so you're going to walk away with $20 million. You're never going to have to work again. That's a safe bet, man. So Terence Crawford was risk adverse when he re-signed with Top Rank, and I think and honestly, I do believe he re-signed and he extended. I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. He had multiple opportunities to do something different, but he decided to do that, and as a result, he does not have a fan base that is willing to buy his fights on pay-per-view. Now, when I say, and I said at the beginning of this video, that Terence Crawford fans are to blame for this, I'm kind of playing a little bit because I know that his fan, or at least I believe that people that are truly fans of his will support his pay-per-view and would buy his pay-per-view. I'm a fan of Terence Crawford, despite what people think about me, and the fact that I will give my opinion about circumstances related to Terence Crawford, whether or not you would consider that to be pro Terence or anti Terence. I'm a fan of Terence Crawford, and I've bought all three of his pay-per-views. I came out of my pocket to buy. Right. But what Tim Smith is saying, look, all these people that are talking about how we need to make the fight, we need to do this and that and pay, as far as like with the split goes, whether it's a 70-30 split, 60-40 split, 50-50 split and all that. He's like, look, all the people talking about what the amount of money that should be made in this fight is, most of these people are not going to buy the fight. They're going to steal the fight. So, and, it's hard to argue about that when Terence Crawford, does less than 100,000 pay-per-views against Postal, does, 100,000 pay-per-views against Amir Khan and Sean Porter, that the people that are doing all this talking, not the specific people on the internet, right? But, just the massive amount of people are not buying those. They're not buying those pay-per-views, right? They're going to a streaming service. They're watching it. They're talking about the fight, but they're not paying for it, right? And so, and that is evident in the fact that, Bob Arum, for example, says, on a per fight basis that, he's losing money on Terence Crawford. You got, Eddie Hearn saying, look, man, pretty much saying the same thing. Terence Crawford is a tremendous talent. Good luck to him in his career, because we don't have anybody that we can have him fight where he can make the type of money that he's going to want to make, right? So you've got Bob Arum, who didn't re-sign him to a long-term contract, and just to let you know, it was not. It was as much, at least of what's in the news, as much Bob Arum's choice as it was Terence Crawford's choice not to resign. That was a mutual breaking of the ways. Eddie Hearn won't sign him. Now you got Tim Smith saying, look, we don't know. Tim Smith he even said that it's, that they don't even want to, in his opinion, he wouldn't even make him an offer. You know what I mean? So that's just somebody else saying, look, I don't even want to make an offer to you that's going to be insulting to you, because we know how much money you're going to want to make for the fight, man, but we're not going to pay you anywhere near that for this fight, because it's going to be pay-per-view. And, it's not my business to tell you how to grow your career as a pay-per-view star, but, here it is. Now, my thing is, and I'm hoping that something like this happens, there are multiple people that Terence Crawford can fight, right, over at the PBC, that may allow him to build himself up over the course of 2 or 3 fights into getting a decent the group of people that are buying pay-per-views to be willing to ante up for his fights, man. But it's just a lot of stuff going against him in that regard. But if Terence Crawford really, it leaves it with this. If Terence Crawford really does want to become that major pay-per-view star, he's probably going to have to take short money with Errol Spence Jr., right? Because Errol Spence Jr., they're calculating that Errol Spence Jr. can make money, fighting Ugas on pay-per-view. Eventually, he'll may be able to get a Canelo Alvarez fight on pay-per-view. And honestly, he's been making his money on pay-per-view against guys like Danny Garcia. While Terence Crawford, it's just not been the case, man. So I'm hoping that they can find a way around this, but that is in large part going to have to do with how badly Terence Crawford wants to fight. If Terence Crawford is insistent on getting the same amount of money that Errol Spence Jr. is getting, obviously, man, that is not going to work, man, because unless Errol Spence Jr. himself says, I want these belts so bad that I'm willing to take a major pay cut for this fight and get Terence Crawford to make the majority of the money and I'll take short money, and I just don't think that's realistic for Errol Spence Jr. because it's not fair to everybody that works with Errol Spence Jr. Because if Errol takes that type of pay cut, so does Derek James, so does his father, so does his sparring partners, so does whoever the day-to-day manager of him is. It's just kind of a jacked up situation. I wish that, but I will tell you that this is something that I do believe fighters like Shakur Stevenson need to pay attention to, because that is exactly what Shakur Stevenson is going through. But Shakur Stevenson has not stayed with him so long that it's, that it's irredeemable. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Tim Smith is wrong and Al Heyman can work something out. But anyway, you let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.